The changes are quite overwhelming. Apart from the extraordinary tragedy of a cyclone that killed 130,000 people, we were literally, as aid agencies, in the hands of a government that was paralysed and unable to respond. And in the Irrawaddy Delta, where we are trying to work, just unbelievable blockages from military at every level, because it was a society that wasn't open at all to the world or responsive. You couldn't mention Aung San Suu Kyi's name. Now, this time, her picture is everywhere and is being sold on the street, and she will be almost certainly in Parliament by the 1st of April. So I was simply blown away by the changes.
The changes have been remarkable, but it is very early days in this reform process for Burma. Why are you saying now is the right time for aid agencies to really strengthen their engagement with the country?
Well, I think it's reached a tipping point. So full credit to our own Foreign Affairs Minister, Kevin Rudd. He visited there in June. He began this flurry of foreign ministers and others going there. George Soros has been through, Senator Mitch McConnell from the US, Gates is going, and Kevin Rudd got that right early. Look, the story basically is one of extraordinary surprise. I don't use the word miracle lightly, but given Syria and other parts of the world, this looks like a miracle. You had an election that everybody thought was a sham, and a constitution to only protect the military, and Aung San Suu Kyi under house arrest who couldn't even compete in it. And then you had an ex-general become a president who made in his first speech a statement about this really is a move to democracy, and the whole nation cynically laughed to themselves. They'd heard this so many times before. It was just a puppet for the military. What we have discovered is this ex-general, who sees himself as now a civilian president, actually believed what he said. He formed a relationship with Aung San Suu Kyi of trust. He's released now, the day we arrived, 600 political prisoners, but something like 6,000. He's allowed trade unions to be registered, political parties to be registered. And though everyone still has a fear that there could be a crackdown and it could go back to where it was, there is such surging optimism and visits and upgrading of the US diplomatic relationships with a full ambassador and investment that it is at a tipping point where it's very hard to believe they could now crack down and pull it back.
On the issue of investment, I understand you travelled to the country with the CEO of the Jetstar Group. What's their interest in visiting Burma?
Well, Bruce Buchanan, who's CEO of the Jetstar Group with his wife Liz, travelled with me. World Vision and Jetstar have a joint program called Star Kids, where they collect loose change for World Vision programs in many of the Asian countries Jetstar fly into and where we work. But Jetstar had been under pressure 2 years ago to pull out of their flights to Myanmar. That's with Myanmar Asia Link, co-flights, saying, you must stand in solidarity with sanctions and pull out. And I remember at the time talking to Bruce Buchanan and saying, even aid workers, we're in there, we've been there 20 years, need flights. We need engagement. And Jetstar kept their nerve on that one, even though there was criticism about what they were doing. And so this was his first visit as the CEO of Jetstar to a country his airline has been flying to 3 flights a week, so it's not huge, and to experience firsthand these changes and to make assessments about what they've been doing and the calls they have made.
You mentioned World Vision's role in Burma over the last 2 decades, running programs there. What sort of areas do you see as areas of expansion for World Vision?
Well, we'll be expanding in a number of ways. Firstly, when the cyclone hit, we weren't in the Irrawaddy Delta, and one of my jobs when I got up there straight after the cyclone was to negotiate just a letter with a general who ran health and social welfare to get through the roadblocks and to ensure that the roadblocks and to ensure that we could work in the Delta and give aid to those people. Now, we like many aid agencies, have never had a formal MOU to work in Myanmar. It's always been on the whim of the government and being extraordinarily careful. We have just signed a number of MOUs in the areas we are, giving us real security to work there and confidence to develop our programs, to have firm footing. Now, we've got 800 staff, we've got very large programs. The recovery work after Cyclone Nargis, which I visited in the Delta, was just extraordinary. That is all now possible on sure footing because of these changes.